Leafy greens like spinach, kale, and Swiss chard can make a major difference in your mental health. They're rich in folate, magnesium, antioxidants. They're going to reduce inflammation in your brain, making you feel better overall mentally. And this is seen in research. The nutrients found in leafy greens can actually help support the brain so much to reduce depression. Like leafy greens, in this episode of Heal Thyself, I go over my top 10 foods for better mental health. You do not want to miss this one. All right. Welcome to the Heal Thyself Podcast. We're going to be talking about nourishing your mind and what foods are going to get you there. This podcast, we're going to really explore what is the intersection between food and your mental health, because there is an intersection, and I'm going to go into that. All right. We're going to go into the top 10 foods that are going to boost your mental well-being. And maybe you know some, maybe you don't. Maybe you don't like some of them, and maybe you do. But I really want to put a hierarchy of what foods should be at the top of your list, especially if you're suffering with mental health issues. Before we jump into those foods, let's look at a bigger picture, right? Mental health, we're talking about it way more than ever, definitely since I graduated. And that's a good thing, right? We are recognizing it within everyone out there that mental health is a driving force of so much of disruption in overall health. We're looking at so much more with men, and men are talking more about it. It's incredible. And mental health is actually a growing concern worldwide. According to the National Institute of Mental Health, this one's going to blow your mind. Nearly 1 in 5 adults in the United States live with a mental health condition. 1 in 5. That means if you're in the elevator, one of the people in the elevator is going to have a mental health condition. And that can be anxiety. It can be a depression. It could be mood disorders. Those are really common, right? And the numbers actually went up after the pandemic, naturally, as you'd imagine. And it's showing us that we need to think about mental health holistically. It's getting worse. And we can't just think about it saying, here's this medication or even here's a supplement to treat your mental health. We got to go deeper. So the diet is a big piece of this pie. You know, there's a lot. Community, the state of your gut health, of course, nervous system dysregulation probably is the biggest one. But really, I want to talk about the food aspect because people eat every day, right? And it's an input into our body that is telling us, is the world safe? Is my body safe? And that's going to play a major role for your overall mental health. So average, unfortunately, like we know the American diet is rich in ultra-processed foods, rich in added sugars, rich in unhealthy fats. Right? It's not doing our mental health any favors. You know that. The studies are showing that diets high in processed foods are associated with a high risk of depression and anxiety. But on the flip side, all that good stuff, right? The nutrient-dense foods, those have been connected to improving our mental health. So remember this, food is not just a fuel for the body. You're not just intaking, your body's using it in its fuel. It's actually a form of health and wellness for our brains, for our mental health. So food really, really matters. There's a connection between it. It influences the brain. It can influence the brain structure. It can influence the brain function. It can influence the way the chemicals of the brain are balanced. We know things like omega-3 fatty acids, B vitamins, magnesium, antioxidants. Those are really key players. And these nutrients are supporting how our brain is working. It's supporting the production, the synthesis of neurotransmitters, the serotonins of the world, the dopamines. It's helping reduce inflammation, which is really the driving force of something like depression. It's combating any oxidative stress that is coming from that inflammation. What that means is cellular stress. Too much fire, the cells are stressed. They go, no, there's a fire. I can't be here. It's not safe. Well, it's combating that, right? It's quenching that. These are all really critical factors when it comes to mental health. So without further ado, let us get to those top 10, my top 10, my most important foods to eat for your mental health. And they're really, really powerful. Leafy greens, leafy greens, leafy greens, leafy greens, leafy greens. They may be number one. They may be. This is no specific order, but they might be. Spinach, kale, Swiss chard, right? I'm going to break a little secret to you. They are not trying to kill you, okay? If you have a sensitive gut, notice what foods, what greens, what veggies affect your gut. If you have a sensitive gut, cook the food. Notice how different it is when you cook it. I prefer it cooked. A lot of people love raw. I prefer it cooked because I know I have a sensitive gut. but I still eat these foods. Why? Because they're rich in the nutrients we need for better brain mental health. They're rich in folate, magnesium, antioxidants. These are the things that are going to fight inflammation. They're going to help produce those neurotransmitters like serotonin so you actually feel good in your body. We know that a folate deficiency has been linked to depression. That magnesium is going to regulate your sleep, your bowels. If you ain't pooping, constipated, it's going to help. You feel good when you poop, right? It's going to help your stress response. It's going to help your body be more robust for stress. And it's not just me saying it, there's research behind it, right? A study published in Nutritional Neuroscience found that individuals with higher folate, and remember, these foods are rich in folate, they were less likely to experience depression. And the leafy greens are also high in fiber. They're supporting your gut health, right? The second brain, remember, the gut-brain axis, the connection between an inflamed gut and depression, really, really important. You know, we talk a lot about wellness on this show, but something we don't really discuss is the importance of what we're actually sleeping on. I've been sleeping on Birch mattresses for a long time, and I have to tell you, Birch is the best of the best. They're a longtime partner because I believed in them for such a long time and vice versa. But what really drew me to Birch is their commitment to doing things the right way. We're so careful about what we put on our bodies, but we don't realize that if we're sleeping on a conventional mattress, we're actually being exposed to some really harmful chemicals, especially over time. It's not something that's talked about in medicine yet, and I still don't know why, but it will be in the future. But Birch takes a completely different approach. They use organic cotton, organic wool, 100% latex, but what's really important is what they're not using. They're not using any of those chemicals that are releasing volatile organic compounds that we breathe in. Right? Fiberglass as a flame retardant that causes respiratory inflammation, disruption of our body. Now, they actually use organic wool instead, which is a natural flame resistant. There's no polyurethane foams, which means no harmful off-gassing. And as someone who tends to sleep hot, right? I know I have the AC blasting. I notice a huge difference with how organic materials actually regulate my temperature during the night. They have all the certifications I look for, GOT certified, Green Guard Gold certified, which means they're rigorously tested to ensure that they're free from harsh chemicals and pollutants. Plus, the natural wool is hypoallergenic. It's mildew resistant. It's perfect if you have sensitivities like I do. And I know switching mattresses to a quality one is a big decision, but Birch is fantastic because they let you try it for 100 nights and they give you a 25-year warranty. They're going to deliver it right to your door free within the United States. And they'll even set it up for you and remove your old one, which is already in itself worth the money, right? So the exciting part is Birch is offering an exclusive Black Friday deal for you, the Heal Thyself listener. You're going to get 27% off of your mattress. Plus, they're throwing in 2 free Eco Rest pillows made of recyclable materials. Just head over to birchliving.com/heal thyself. That is birchliving.com/heal thyself and use the code BirchPartner27 at checkout. If you love the podcast and you want to be down with the Dr. G Heal Thyself community, we give incredible tips every single week on getting a healthier physical, mental, and emotional body. The newest updates of my favorite products, the newest updates of my favorite practices. Stay in the loop by joining the Dr. G community. All you got to do is go to any one of my posts on Instagram and comment the word news. You'll get a DM to join. Number 2, but I don't know, maybe this might even be number 1 because come on. This is something that I have every day. This is something that is a non-negotiable for me. This is something I put in my smoothies. This is something that I'll just grab a handful and throw them in my mouth. Those are berries, blueberries, strawberries, raspberries. These matter. Berries are packed with antioxidants, and the name of those antioxidants are called anthocyanins. And they have a potent ability to reduce oxidative stress in the brain. Remember when I said there's a fire and your cells are stressed out because they're like, this isn't safe? They have a potent ability to reduce that stress signal, calm it down, reduce that fire. Not only that, they're supporting a healthy blood flow to the brain. Now your brain cells, the neurons, are getting all the nutrients they need to survive, to thrive. A study in Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience found that regular berry consumption improves memory and actually can slow cognitive decline. This is why people who talk about Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, dementia, this is why they talk so much about berries. They actually also can combat mood disorders. Why? Because they're going to reduce brain inflammation. If you're depressed, one of your main go-to foods has to be berries. Has to be, right? I'm not saying it's going to cure anything. I'm saying that it's going to help support, okay? Walnuts. We really don't talk about walnuts, need more love. I love the doctrine of signatures. You open up a walnut, what's it look like, right? Walnuts, they are a powerful plant-based source of omega-3s. And I mentioned omega-3s before. These are really important because they help support brain health. They're going to improve your mood. They're going to enhance the connection, the communication between neurons. That means your brain is working faster. It's reducing inflammation, right? And we know this in medicine. It's established. Foods, diets that are rich in omega-3s are linked to a reduced risk of depression and anxiety. Omega-3s are fantastic. But they also contain something called polyphenols. These are antioxidants that protect the brain cells, the neurons, from damage. Okay? So we have it two ways. It's feeding the brain with omega-3s. The brain needs fat. And it's also reducing the fire. It's reducing that oxidative stress. The cells are calmer. Number 4, man, I feel like this could even be number 1. This is a go-to for mine every single day. I try to do it. I don't remember all the time, but I try to do this for every single meal. I take a little scoop of a fermented food, right? Definitely every single day. And I was against it because dairy kind of grosses me out sometimes. But I do this because I know it works. And I got it in a meditation. I was just sitting and I go, what does my gut need the most? And I saw like the vision of kefir. And I was like, whoa, my body needs kefir. And I remember my girlfriend was cracking up because first time I tried, I opened it. I put like a little shot glass of it and I was like gagging, right? Because I don't like dairy. But I know that when I connected to my body, it was calling for it. Now that was 2 months ago. My gut is really good, really good. It's sensitive, but it's really good. The fire has calmed down a lot, right? And kefir has been really good for me. Fermented foods, kimchi. I try to take a scoop of kimchi before every meal. Sauerkraut, miso. But these matter. They matter because they're loaded with probiotics, right? And they support your gut health. And 90% of the serotonin is coming from the gut. A healthy microbiome is essential for your mood regulation. Remember, serotonin is that I feel really good in my body. I feel happy. I feel energized. I feel euphoric. So when our microbiome's happy, you're happy. You're happy, microbiome's happy. Again, it's not just me saying this. 2017 study in psychiatry research found that folks who consume more fermented foods than those who didn't eat any had lower social anxiety. It can actually help social anxiety. And that's because of the gut-brain connection. We know that, right? So really easy. The way that I recommend it is just getting a shot of something in the morning if you do kefir and having a little scoop of sauerkraut or kimchi or whatever it is that your body calls for, and check in on your body. Does your body really want it? This one's a nice one. I like this one, dark chocolate, but it's got to be 85% cacao or higher. So none of that mamby-pamby, 50%. You're basically eating sugar milk or just a sugar bar with its brown, right? You want to make sure it has a lot of cacao. Why? Dark chocolate is really rich in flavonoids. And these are going to improve blood flow to the brain. Just remember, we were just talking about blood flow to the brain. You want better blood flow to the brain. A brain with really poor blood flow is not getting all the nutrients that it needs to heal, to thrive, right? It's going to enhance the mood. It's got a small amount of magnesium. It's got some tryptophan, which is the precursor to serotonin, right? Feeling good in your body. But really, 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 it's those antioxidants. It's those flavonoids in dark chocolate that play a major, major role. And it's seen in the evidence. A study in depression and anxiety found that people who loved it, the consumers, they were actually less likely to report depressive symptoms. Moderation's the key. And go back and listen to my chocolate show, right? I go over all the chocolates because heavy metals are problematic in chocolate. I go over my favorite ones. Go listen to it and find out which one is safe to be using every single day. Here's one I like because it is a protein alternative. Legumes. Lentils, chickpeas, black beans. We eat too much meat. We're too reliant on meat, right? Too much of one thing is not good. We got to start bringing on other sources of protein. And these are fantastic. Legumes are actually an excellent source of B vitamins. And you need B vitamins for your brain, particularly B6. B6 is really important for the synthesis of these neurotransmitters, the dopamines, the GABAs, the serotonin, the oxytocin, all those things that make you feel things. Well, B6 is really necessary for it. But guess what? The legumes, right? The chickpeas, the lentils, they're rich in magnesium, iron, and fiber. Like this is, you want to talk about superfoods? This is one of the superfoods, right? It's got so much fiber. It's feeding your gut bacteria. It's got magnesium calming the nervous system down, right? It's rich in all the things that your body is really calling for. And it's been linked to actually lower levels of depression in several population studies. And they also help stabilize your blood sugar. And that's something that's going to prevent mood swings in itself. And it's really easy. Like, you could just, they're cheap you got to soak them. I like soaking them, and cook them up. Easy to eat, and if you're sensitive to it, find out which ones you're not sensitive to. It plays a really major role, and find out, like, maybe you need to just put them in water for a little bit. Okay. Avocado is a major one. Unfortunately, my body does not love avocado. I have it sometimes, but it doesn't love it. But avocado is a great source of healthy monounsaturated fats. This is something that your brain loves these. B vitamins, potassium, they're going to help the cell membranes of your brain cells, right? They're going to reduce cortisol levels, right? Cortisol is going to be detrimental to your brain, especially the parts of your brain that are involved in emotional processing, memories, fear. Too higher cortisol, elevated cortisol over time is one of the most destructive things in the body, and anger. But that's one of the most destructive things, right? So it's seen in the research. Avocado consumption improves cognitive function. It improves mood. And it's mostly due to its really nice nutritional profile. Number 8, what else do we like? Whole grains. Whole grains. Everybody doesn't like whole grains anymore. And they go, no, stay away from it. Those are killing you too, man. I need to take a breath. If you don't react well, then soak them. Cook them. It's going to get rid of almost 90% of all the things that people complain about. Whole grains are fantastic. They are rich in B vitamins. They have complex carbohydrates, right? And this is going to help stabilize your blood sugar, fuel the brain, get a steady dose of energy. What does the research show? Randomized controlled trial and public health nutrition found that diets high in whole grains were associated with better mental health outcomes compared to those who are eating refined grains. It's not only that, it's heart health, it's brain health, it's metabolic health, it's all the things. Whole grains are fantastic. Let's stay grounded in what we know versus all the things that want to trend. What about seeds? What about particularly pumpkin seeds, flax seeds, chia seeds, right? These matter too. They are mighty. That's a good word for them. They have a lot of magnesium, omega-3s. They have a lot of zinc. And remember, magnesium is something that 70, 80% of us are deficient in. This is really effective at just calming the nervous system, and the evidence shows it. People with a magnesium deficiency have increased levels of anxiety and depression. And these seeds are so affordable, right? You can easily get organic pumpkin seeds. You can get sprouted ones that are even better on the gut, Number 10, you're going to like this one. Sweet potatoes. They're cheap. They're fairly easy to make. I don't love making them, but they're fairly easy to make. They're rich in beta carotene, which is really, really important at supporting your brain health and reducing overall that oxidative stress. Remember that stress, your cells are going, the world isn't safe. It's too much. There's a fire. They have good amount of fiber. They help stabilize your blood sugar. Research shows that beta carotene that is found in sweet potatoes will reduce symptoms of depression in individuals with high levels of stress. So now I want to talk about how can you integrate these things into your life? Because some people are like, oh my God, I can't afford to get all these things at Whole Foods. Well, you don't need to. Just get them, right? And you can incorporate these foods into your weekly diet. It might cost about 30 to 40 bucks, let's say, if you get all of them. And you can shop seasonally too. But you can integrate them into your day. Let's think about it this way. Oh my God, this is the best meal plan for better brain and mental health. Breakfast, you do some overnight oats, right? You got some blueberries in there. You got some chia seeds. You can maybe have even just a little bit of drizzle of dark chocolate. You can mix it up with some protein. We definitely need protein for our brain health too. Those amino acids, those building blocks. You have an incredible morning brain supporting breakfast right there. Then you can do a lunch, right? You can have spinach and avocado salad. You can have lentils. You could put walnuts. You can do tahini dressing, which is in itself going to be rich in minerals. Now you have a nice little salad, right? And if it's not a salad, right? It's like, say, if it's in the winter, you don't want to have a salad, make it into a soup, right? You could put lentils in a soup. You could put walnuts in a soup. That's such an easy, cheap, affordable lunch right there that is supporting your brain. And you might even want to add another protein. If, let's say, you eat a salmon or you eat a chicken or whatever you do, you can add that on there too, okay? And now dinner. Easy. You could do quinoa. You can mix it up with some kale. You could put a sweet potato right there. Put some kimchi in there. Actually, put some fermented foods in the morning too. Take a shot of kefir in the morning. Put some fermented foods in the lunch, right? The dinner, you got the fermented food, side of kimchi. There you go. That's a dinner. The quinoa, the kale, the sweet potato, the kimchi. What a dinner. If you're feeling depressed, anxious, your gut doesn't feel good, try doing this. And remember, cook what you need to. Soak what you need to. See how you feel. But the meals can be super nutrient dense. They can be affordable. They can support your mental health and well-being without burning a hole in your pocket, right? So yeah, I just thought, food is such an important thing that we eat. And it's so easy, the decisions we make to support the things that we want. And food has a powerful affinity for these things. And when we put the right foods in our body, we notice a difference. So that's all I got for you today. I really hope you found this very helpful. Small changes can make big improvements when you nourish your mind with these foods. As always, please rate, review, and subscribe. If you haven't yet, send it to your loved ones. But thank you so much for joining the Heal Thyself Show. I love you. See you.